Okay, so we're diving deep today, folks.
Deeper than usual.
Yeah, I think so. We're tackling this article, Living a Life of Higher Purpose.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
Right? It's by Shawn Wondunna-Foley over at www.innerway.com.au, published just the other day, December 1st, 2024. And let me tell you, it's thought-provoking.
What's got you so hooked?
Well, the whole premise is that there's this global shift in consciousness happening right now, like right under our noses.
Hmm.
Big stuff.
I'm intrigued. Where do we even begin with something like that?
That's exactly what we're here to unpack. What does this shift look like? What's our role in all of this? And how do we actually, live with more purpose, not just talk about it?
All right, let's get into it. I know the article talks about higher purpose, but I feel like that phrase gets thrown around a lot. What does it actually mean in this context?
Yeah, good point. The article really emphasizes that it's not just about, like, chasing our own little dreams. It's about connecting to something way bigger.
Bigger than us.
Bigger than us. Like some kind of universal energy or force that's pushing for, positive change in the world.
Okay, universal energy. I can already hear some of our listeners rolling their eyes like that's a bit too woo-woo. So how do we connect that to, our everyday lives?
I think that's where looking at history can help.
History.
Yeah, like think about individuals or movements that were driven by something beyond just personal gain.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Like figures like Gandhi. His fight for India's independence wasn't about, I don't know, building a fortune or getting a fancy title.
Exactly. It was about justice, about nonviolence. He had this vision for a better world, and his actions were totally aligned with that. And, wasn't always easy or comfortable, but it was definitely impactful.
And look at the impact he had. We don't have to lead a revolution to live a life of higher purpose. We can all find ways to align our actions with our values, whether it's in our personal relationships, our careers, or how we engage with our communities.
Love that. So action is key. But the article also talks about something called the universe's flow and aligning with it for positive change.
Yeah, the flow.
Right? Like, how do we even know if we're in the flow or swimming upstream against it? What does that even feel like?
Well, lots of spiritual and philosophical traditions talk about this kind of thing, actually.
All right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In Buddhism, for example, there's this concept of right action. Basically, it means acting in a way that's skillful, compassionate, and ultimately beneficial to yourself and, everyone else. It's all interconnected.
Okay, so how do we know if our actions are right actions?
It's about checking your motivations. Like, are you acting out of ego, greed, or are you coming from a place of genuine care? Do you actually want to contribute something good? Pay attention to how you feel when you're doing something. Do you feel energized, fulfilled, like you're in the right place at the right time? Those could be clues. You're in the flow.
So it's not just about what we're doing, but the why behind it.
Yeah.
The intention. Okay, that's huge. But the article also talks about actually translating those good intentions into action. And I feel like that's where a lot of us get stuck. We feel inspired, we have the best intentions, but then PFFT, nothing happens.
Oh, I've been there for sure. That intention-action gap can be a real struggle.
Right. So what do we do about it?
Well, first, get clear on your values. Like, what truly matters to you? What kind of world do you actually want to see? Then ask yourself, what's one tiny little step I can take today that aligns with those values? Doesn't have to be big, just got to be in the right direction.
Give us an example.
Sure, it could be anything, really, like choosing to buy a locally sourced product instead of something shipped from halfway across the world, or standing up for someone who's being treated unfairly, or even just expressing gratitude to someone who's made a difference in your life. It's those little things done with intention that start to add up.
Love it. Small acts, big impact. Now, the article also talks about something called an indomitable spirit that exists within each of us, which honestly sounds kind of awesome.
Right, this idea that we have this inner strength, this resilience that can help us overcome any obstacle.
But let's be real for a second. We all face setbacks, disappointments,
Yeah.
things that make us want to just crawl under the covers and give up. How do we tap into that indomitable spirit when things get tough?
Yeah, you're totally right. Life is full of challenges, but the article suggests we have this wellspring of strength inside, just waiting to be tapped. Think of it like a tree. It bends in the wind, maybe loses some branches in a storm, but its roots, those stay strong, and that's what allows it to grow again.
I like that.
It's the same with us. We have to cultivate that inner strength, that resilience, so we can bounce back from whatever life throws our way. Things like mindfulness, spending time in nature, connecting with supportive communities. It's all about nurturing those roots, those historical figures we talked about earlier. They faced setbacks too, but they had this unwavering commitment to their purpose, and that's what fueled their resilience.
Powerful stuff. Okay, so we've talked about individual purpose, but the article takes it a step further, right? It claims we're part of a collective awakening, a shift towards a whole new reality. That's a lot to process. Is there actually any evidence for this global shift, or is it just wishful thinking?
I mean, it's a big question, and I don't think anyone has a definitive answer yet, but there are some pretty interesting trends out there that suggest, yeah, maybe something's shifting.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, think about the rise of movements for social justice, climate action, mental health awareness. These things have been around for a while, but the way they're connecting and mobilizing people globally through technology feels different. Almost
A
like,
collective awakening.
exactly, like we're waking up to our interconnectedness, realizing we're not isolated individuals. It's not about me anymore. It's about we.
Okay, I'll admit, that's pretty inspiring. But the article ends with this call to action, urging us to embrace this shift and help create a better world, which honestly can feel a little daunting. Like, where do we even begin to contribute to such a monumental change?
It's easy to feel overwhelmed when you look at the big picture, but real change always starts with individual action. So focus on what you can control. Your thoughts, your words, your
But
actions.
choosing kindness, right?
Exactly. Stay informed about the issues you care about, have those tough conversations, support causes that align with your values. Remember, even the smallest acts, multiplied by millions, can create waves of change. That's the power of collective action.
So today we've talked about this concept of a global shift towards a higher purpose, the power of aligning our intentions with our actions, and how crucial resilience is when things get tough. But the takeaway for me is that it's not about making these huge, grand gestures. It's about the everyday choices we make, aligning our actions with our values and contributing to positive change in whatever ways we can.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, here's something for you, our listeners, to think about. If you could dream up a new reality for humanity, what would it look like? What role would you play in bringing that vision to life?
That's a good one to sit with.
Until next time, folks, keep diving deep.